Welcome back to Soccer Cards United. It's episode 268 of the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Enzo, what's on the show today?
Hello, Jason. Today on the show, we are going to be talking about backyard breaks, but for a semi-different reason than we normally would. Some big soccer sales on Goldin, and also an old favorite from Panini is returning, Jason.
Very exciting. Let's hear the music. Okay, so Enzo, let's start the show today on a slightly down note. We have to talk about it. Just ever so slightly down note. We have to talk about what has been the biggest story in the hobby this week surrounding backyard breaks, some controversy, and then some backlash, and then some backlash to the backlash, and all that stuff. Before we get into it, we should just tell people that Backyard Breaks, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, is an American breaking company. Started kind of during the pandemic times, around the same time as SoccerCardsUnited.com started, perhaps.
I don't know. I feel like they've been going for a while, but regardless, they've not been without controversy the whole way through their ascent. No. I would say to the top of.
There are old episodes of this podcast where they come up in controversies past for entirely different reasons, but they are Whatnot's biggest card account as far as we know. They are among Topps and Panini's biggest accounts. They buy and break a huge amount of products. They employ kind of like 60 people or something, according to one article I read. So they're a big breaking company. And this week, or last week, I should say, last Tuesday, 28th of January, on a Whatnot stream from Backyard Grant. So they all have backyard name. Grant is one of the kind of OG backyard guys.
I think, the owner.
Yeah, he's one of the owners. He's listed, I think, as the chief marketing officer, and he's one of their biggest breakers. His Whatnot account that he was streaming on at the time has 87,000 followers. So huge.
And they have they have other accounts with 200,000+ on Whatnot as well. They're kind of more generic generals or whatever. But yeah, he's a huge part of their, I suppose, social. He's kind of the face of the brand.
He's kind of one of the faces of the brand. Yeah. So it's on this Tuesday, on a apparently innocent Tuesday in January. Grant says some real messed up stuff on a stream.
Stuff we can't even repeat here.
We can't even repeat. People can go and find the footage. It's readily available out there.
Readily disturbing. Readily ridiculous.
Yeah, it says some kind of disturbing, sexualized language surrounding a hypothetical daughter. We won't get into it. Anyway, it's kind of reprehensible stuff. There's then a big backlash.
Can I say, you said kind of reprehensible? You have to fix that, Jason. Kind of right. It was as bad as it gets.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, no, not good at all.
So there's then a big backlash, and the footage goes viral, and the controversy goes viral within the hobby community, and then many people start coming out, including many prominent female members of the hobby.
Yep.
Come out, and they kind of are strongly pushing for various people are strongly pushing for Whatnot to do something, for other companies who have relationships with Backyard to reevaluate their relationship with this brand. Then there's all this controversy. Nothing happens. Monday the 3rd of February, so basically a week after it originally is said, Whatnot suspend this particular account, Backyard Grant's account. And all the other Backyard Breaks accounts are active and have been active through this whole time. So at that point as well, there's also there's an apology that's issued. People can decide for themselves whether it's an apology, but there's a statement from Grant, and I'll just read you the full statement just so we're working with all the facts here. Grant says, "My words and actions were completely inappropriate, and to say I crossed the line is an understatement. There's absolutely no excuse for what I said. An apology alone isn't enough. I will be taking some time off and stepping away from Backyard to reflect on my actions, and I will be seeking help to hold myself accountable moving forward. I need to be better, plain and simple. I need to be more aware of my words and actions, and that my words reach many people." So that's kind of a boilerplate. It's time for me to step back and listen kind of situation.
Yeah. Weak statement, I would say.
Yeah, kind of a weak statement, yeah. And so we have basically, the controversy was around Backyard Breaks, was around kind of a culture of sort of toxic masculinity in the hobby, and very quickly, obviously Backyard, Whatnot, and it seems that the hobby in general has decided that the easiest way to move past this, which is what many people with vested interests would like to do, is to basically say, this is not a cultural problem with the hobby. This is not a whole brand problem. This is just Grant said some messed up stuff. He needs to work on himself, and he's going to go and do that now. And please don't pay any attention to any sort of wider cultural issue. And so where's your head at on this?
Don't like it. Don't
like that's good. Good to get that out of the way.
It's you could argue. I think a lot of the argument is that like he doesn't, even though he owns the company, whatever, partially owns the company, whatever you want to say. It's kind of like they're an entire organization. There's 60 to 100 people. They have all these different channels. The other people on the different channels didn't say anything. They shouldn't be punished. This, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. I think it's worth mentioning and pointing out that he was talking on the stream next to someone sorting the cards. So two faces of the brand, and the other person didn't pull him up on it. That's the biggest thing that kind of caught my attention. That shows this wasn't a crazy out of left field statement. This was kind of the sort of stuff you've heard before. Maybe not this specific stuff, but in general, it didn't raise alarm bells to the person there. I'm sure they might even have an off-screen producer or whatever. Like there was none of that. So really bad. It's
also important to remember in that interaction though, he's the boss.
Yeah, true, but still.
So whatever sort of organization is being run, it's not a kind of a structure where either that person wanted to or felt they could say, hey, that's messed up. Don't say that.
Regardless, just messy. A totally messy thing, and it's upsetting because the actual growth of the hobby has included obviously growing into the female fan bases and just women, getting women involved, getting kids involved, which is such an important thing. I don't necessarily think kids are on their stream,
or at least they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't think there's loads if there is, but yeah, I don't know. It was really, really bad, really weak. I liked seeing the statements coming out. I liked seeing that people genuinely just said this is messed up. I seen it in group chats that I was in. People were sharing it, going, this is not on, whatever. And it was good to see people actually speak out. I don't really see. I think like the response was weak. I think everything's weak. I think like there's a lot of money involved, I would say, and that's not an excuse for it. That's not acceptable. But I do think big brands would rather wait it out. I mean, with any controversy, people like to wait it out until the last minute, and then their stance is whatever they think will cost them the least amount of money. Like if Whatnot
100%
lost 80% of their users because they were complaining to, then Whatnot would suddenly stand out like an iron knight and say no we don't sample it. Like no statement from them is weak, but you can obviously understand in the background there's a lot of business there, and they're probably talking personally to Grant saying what the hell, what's going on, like I think it is that, and I think that happens in almost every industry, and I can understand why females in the hobby particularly would have felt sick to their stomach that it happened, sick to their stomach that, like, I think they had other accounts live saying controversy boosts sales or something like that. So immediately their reaction wasn't one of any form of anything,
It's kind of like all press is good press kind of
all
thing.
Press is good press, regardless of how kind of messed up it is.
Which, by the way, traditionally, just to touch on the all press is good press point, this is a strategy. No, I'm not even going to say a strategy. This is a pattern that has benefited backyard breaks in the past. I mean, I remember covering on a very early episode of the podcast some or other backyard controversy, and we were shocked to find out that what we thought was like, well, that's it. That's them. That's them done. I think maybe it was, and again, this is not comparable in any way, but it was the Trevor Lawrence thing, maybe.
Yeah, they stole a card or didn't.
They stole a card, whatever. There was a boys and girls home involved later on, and which now, by the way, alarm bells. But what I was going to say is like, we always thought like, okay, this is going to sink them, but they have actually been able to turn their brand into kind of like, and we've seen this in the wider culture as well, turn it into like, we're like the bad boys, we say the stuff you're not supposed to say, we don't, we're kind of like frat house kind of energy.
That is the total energy, by the way. Frat house breaking energy. And that's why the weirdest part of it all is it's not surprising. If someone said this is what was said on the stream by this person, you wouldn't be like, that's out of character for that fella. He would never say anything that would cross that kind of a line. Like obviously this specific line was messed up, but like, listen, people start pulling up stuff from 2019 of him talking about the Women's World Cup in an extremely derogatory way. So in general, this is not a once-off kind of craziness. This is cultural. It's kind of, just deep-rooted. It is what it is, and it's terrible. Yeah. And the worst thing is, who are buying into their breaks for the most part, and it's probably similar profile of people that are the people breaking, if you know what I mean. It's men, certain age, certain ethnicity, it's all there. So it's not they're not, I don't think they're buyers, and not a lot of them, I don't think are going to be really bothered by it. It's kind of a messed up thing.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't. Sorry, this definitely doesn't represent the kind of hobby that we see at card shows, week to week, the people that we know within it. But there's definitely, at the end of the day, it's a male dominated industry, and it's one that's even like, you could argue it crosses into sports culture, which is also, messed up in its own way. So it's like, to not acknowledge it's kind of systematic, it would be really, really naive. I'm sure if you're a woman in the hobby, you feel it. I mean, like I'm saying, card shows are great. I'm sure if you're a woman at the hobby, you might be thinking otherwise. So yeah, it was sad to see it from obviously someone who is one of the biggest, regardless of how you feel about them. If that's coming from the top, that's not good.
It's not great. No, I mean, there was some kind of anecdotal evidence being shared around that from their other channels that their breakers were kind of experiencing lower than usual sale prices and lower than usual traffic in the street. So there was kind of maybe people were voting with their wallet, maybe they weren't, who knows, maybe, customers, I mean, it's might not be important to you, or maybe like they still have the products you want to break, and then you're kind of like, maybe I'll just leave it for a minute and see where this all goes, because I don't necessarily want my name in a stream when this is all happening, so there is that kind of reputation management on all sides. It's hard to know because, as you mentioned, there's huge amounts of money involved, and this stuff, like, we haven't really, like, the industry has not grown in terms of like the industry does not reflect, like, it's not as diverse as the world in general. It's quite male dominated. It's whatever, and it's growing faster, and companies like Backyard have risen to the top of an industry very, very quickly without kind of having those traditional guardrails that do kind of build an organization that doesn't say messed up stuff like this.
I was very surprised that Fanatics didn't take it upon themselves to just essentially take one of the easiest wins they could have taken.
Mm-hmm.
We don't support this type of rhetoric. You know what I mean? And obviously, again, I'm not naive to know the rough figures we're talking here when we're talking about this specific group. So I understand that, but like, that shouldn't really, I think Fanatics are positioned in such a way where they could handle that loss regardless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, it comes down to Fanatics Live. Like, they're not on Fanatics Live. So, assuming they don't, like, if Fanatics came out in 6 months and said, Backyard Breaks exclusive on Fanatics Live, like, there's going to be backlash to that. It's going to be controversy. Yeah. But I do think it could have been a really easy win for them to just come out with a crazy statement and just say, nah, we're not having this. And whether they want, I understand that there's from a corporate point of view, that could be a complete disaster. It's just not, it's messy, I understand.
They might say, let's not even get involved because we don't want the backlash to the backlash or whatever.
We don't want, because like at the end of the day, if Fanatics came out with a statement, then that's going to be on blog posts that are beyond the hobby. And then that's kind of like, you're mixing these things, and it's like, it's really negative press. So it's like,
and they really don't want people's first time hearing about card breaking to be
crazy. The opposite of that. Yeah, no. So I understand. Like, that's what I mean. Like, money shouldn't matter, but I understand why things would move a lot slower because of the money at play, and just not the money that they bring in, but just the wider spectrum of this is a kind of crazy story, whatever, this time. But ultimately, hated to see it. Hate that it does feel like not that much is really going to be done at the end of the day. Like, I imagine that specific Whatnot account will be back up after 30 days or whatever. Like, I think that was a soft slap on the wrist. It was kind of nothing. The only thing I kind of liked seeing was the people that came out and talked about it, and particularly the female voices that came out, because I do think 10 or 20 years ago, and we weren't here 10 or 20 years ago, but I don't think you would have had any female voices to even speak out. So I like to focus on that. There was a lot of positivity there, but even if it was an extremely bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is good to have actually people who, can say, I am personally, because we saw a lot of people, and I'm not criticizing these people, by the way. We saw a lot of people come out and say the kind of classic thing, which is, as the father of a daughter, as the husband of a wife, as the brother of a sister, I personally am horrified by this. Which kind of is neither here nor there. If it's reprehensible, it's reprehensible, regardless of, I know a woman, therefore I find this to be, if I didn't, I wouldn't. So it is actually good to have female voices now in the hobby who can kind of say, hey, this is actually genuinely not okay and something needs to be done about it. I do think this sort of stuff and the hobby, I do wonder about, you mentioned Fanatics, I do wonder about the Fanatics kind of, they wouldn't call it monopoly and neither would their lawyers, but the kind of move towards a more monopolistic model of the hobby, let's say, where it does kind of feel like they are now going to be
called upon,
basically the judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, to a degree on stuff like that. And they're experts at not jumping the gun, I would imagine, throughout the various businesses that they have, and ties they have to athletes who maybe could have similar situations happen or whatever. I just think from a female point of view, I'm sure it's frustrating and annoying that for the most part they led the charge on the outrage. Like, it was almost left up to them. They had to decide, as a female in the hobby, do I want to come out and call out this crazy behavior that there are, so many prominent male figures in the hobby that have actually not really said anything,
Yep. No, for sure.
So that definitely sucks for them and the wider thing. But I'm just hoping it kind of improves as we go on. That's all you can really kind of hope for, is that people do call out that behavior. Because in fairness, some of the group chats I was in were group chats with just men in it, in the European UK hobby, and they were all sharing it going, this is disgraceful, which is obviously good to see that it wasn't, but yeah. I don't know, it was a shit situation, Jason. I don't really want to give it too much time, and I certainly would like to give them a nickname that way in the future. We don't have to use their branding, because I don't particularly like
some sort of a euphemism.
That's right.
Let's kind of advance the conversation just a little bit before we move on.
Yeah.
This obviously raises the wider question, and we've seen it especially on Whatnot, who kind of are very lax, let's say, on various, they care more about the macro picture of the platform than getting involved in particular issues, as far as we've seen. Yeah,
call this a spot,
particular spats that we called it. Yeah. I do think, like I've said it to you before. I don't know if I've said it publicly before. I do think that we're not that far away from manufacturers providing their own breakers. I'm just gonna kind of say that I do think if you're Fanatics at this point, you may be looking at Fanatics Live and you're looking at the breakers you work with, and loads of different breakers have had loads of different controversies through the years. Some of them, through their own fault, some of them through no fault of their own, etc. And I do wonder, like, at what point do Fanatics just say, we're going to just take this in-house? Like, why can I not just take a guy who's good on camera, who's a good broadcaster, and put him in front of the camera and pay him a salary the same way I'd pay him a salary to host a basketball interview show on ESPN?
Yeah.
Why am I farming this stuff out to these guys who don't have HR departments and don't have this, that, and the other, and could get us all written up in the New York Times after a terrible incident? So I just wondered, do you have any kind of thoughts on that before we move on? Or
I do think that is potentially coming down the line, whether it's taking a already successful breaker and saying, listen, here's a big deal, you now work for us, and whether or not they want to do it. I think naturally with breakers, they're like entrepreneurial by nature. I think they've built it themselves, they're doing it themselves, it's their community, it's their time. They don't want to, if they wanted to be on a salary, they wouldn't be a breaker necessarily,
Yes. Yeah,
the upside of breaking is worth more than a salary, unless that salary, again, from Fanatics point
unless
of view,
it's a Bill Simmons or a Joe Rogan style deal.
It's a bit, well, Joe Rogan, that's different. Who's getting that?
Well, I think Joe Rogan, by the way, I think Grant could pop up with Joe Rogan in a couple of weeks. I was cancelled by the hobby, Joe.
Help me. It's messy. I think that is potential. Like, they have their own platform, and I think the first step is getting breakers on there. You get a little percentage cut, but like, if you manufacture the products, if you have access to the products, if you have access to the eyes via the platform, like, it might be a case of onboard a lot of breakers onto the platform, build customer base on the platform, and then have poor Tom Brady ripping NFL Chrome for a week.
Yeah, the Dana White model.
That's right. But but breaking. So maybe, but I'm sure that it's long hours breaking. It's tough. It's not easy. So maybe, but again, it's not easy. But I think if I'm $1 billion company, I can put together a team of people that can do it.
I think so, because it's long hours are not easy to run QVC and sell mops all day on TV. But yet it's okay, right. Let's move on and just say we wholeheartedly disapprove of all that backyard stuff, and we wholeheartedly support everybody who is against it.
That's right.
Okay, Enzo, we're back to talk about this on Goldin, which is the FC Barcelona auction. There are 8.5 days left until extended bidding, and basically just explain to people what sort of thing is going on here.
So Barcelona, a very illustrious club with incredible history and more recent history when Lionel Messi dominated there for the best parts of 2 decades. Are in a bit of financial bother, partially because of the salary they paid Messi and the various bad salaries and agreements and signings that they've made.
Your Philippe Coutinho's, your Antoine Griezmann's.
Yeah, there was a few bad ones. There's definitely more there, but we won't add them in.
Yeah.
And so as a result, they recently are kind of renovating the stadium, moving to a new stadium. I'm still confused about that, but the Camp Nou is no more their kind of illustrious stadium. And as part of moving stadiums, improving stadiums, whatever you want to call it, they have basically fire sold anything and everything that they can sell, including the former lockers and locker room area of the club. They were selling, I think, patches of grass from the club. They were selling goalpost nets. I know that there's going to be a top set coming out, Barcelona 125-year anniversary, with a lot of the final day Camp Nou things, the kind of tifio that was put out on on the pitch has been cut up and put into cards. I think the net has. I think, anything that can be
Anything and
sold,
everything. Yeah.
will be sold, and including, and they did a partnership with Goldin, which was, to be honest, fantastic to see, because you have Barcelona wanting to auction off loads of stuff, and then you have the biggest sports card auctioneer that gets that deal, because these are not sports cards, right? So for that to happen, it's brilliant for soccer, I think, and for some of these sales numbers, it is unbelievable. $300,000 so far bid on what was, or claimed to be. Messi hasn't been there for a long time, so I don't really know why his locker is still there. But
Yeah.
I think that's something where it's kind of like, paint that with Messi on it, please, and let's call this one Messi's locker, because I reckon we get a big chunk of change for that. I don't know, has Ansu Fati been changing in that Messi locker for the last 10 years? I don't know. Is that saying who used to be there? I don't know.
I think that is saying who used to be there. So this is a locker that was occupied by Mendoza, then Queenie, then Baquero, then Oscar, then Frank de Boer, then Rustu, then Messi. But then nobody after that.
Yeah, did they retire it? They retired the locker after Messi. I don't think Barcelona had the kind of financial capacity to retire that locker, but there you go. There's an image of Zlatan telling Messi he's top class. And there's a variety of lockers. Listen, mental. And to be honest, like, if you have a little, it's absolutely mental to show that, but it is like,
yeah,
I don't know, like if you're the biggest soccer breaker in the world, the biggest soccer podcast in the world, and you had those kind of deep pockets, Jason, if only, let me tell you, wouldn't that be brilliant in your little breaking room, or in your little podcast studio that behind you just have Messi's locker, still smells of his cleats?
Is it $300,000 and the rest?
I don't know.
Or that's cool. I don't know.
I think you need to be, like, obviously you need to be very rich, because, like, if you had a man cave, and then, or if you, like, imagine someone that has like a little 5-a-side pitch out the back of their mansion-esque house. You can have a little locker room, and you can go, that's actually Lionel Messi's locker, and that's where I change my boots at.
So whatever, like the like Adam Sandler, I know, loves basketball and has like a full basketball court in his house. So like wherever the Adam Sandler is of soccer,
that's right,
they might have this. Just to bring you some details here, this locker and bench from the Spotify Camp Nou were used by Messi from his debut in 2004-2005 throughout his final season with Barca in 2020-21. This is an incredible, wholly unique Messi commemorative coming directly from Barca. The bench displays the remnants of Messi's cleat marks. Come on, this is like the shrouded charade. The slightest indentations caused by La Pulga laced up his boots before taking the pitch as Barca's talisman and leader. The locker and bench combination now stands as the definitive Lionel Messi commemoration, a living and breathing testament to the, by the way, they are treating him like a religious figure here, but to the unquestioned skills, I suppose he is, of football's all-time greatest player. The locker measures, just so you can fit it into your house.
That's right.
79.5 by 154.5 by 62 centimeters, and weighs 84.5 kilos.
108.
Yeah.
No, I'm reading 183 pounds.
108 for our American listeners.
Sorry. Well, that's important for our American listeners. Jason, I think, like, if you had like a Maradona version, there is, like, it's mental, but it is a bizarre collectible that I think is a showpiece. Like that, like, you're saying, like, they're talking about Messi like he's a religious figure, but like when he does die in the future, he'll be looked upon as a complete god.
I mean, we've already seen the Maradona.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be.
No, I'm with you.
Especially that they claim, whether it's true or not, that he used it throughout his entire career. Because it's a bit weird. Because it's like, does Lamine Yamal have one of these up for auction? I assume not. But also,
they're telling me that Gavi had one. But Lamine Yamal, did he make his debut before they moved to Montjuic or wherever they're playing now? Maybe not.
Can you click on the Neymar one? I want to see if anyone owned it after Neymar. There's no image of Neymar on it, so I assume someone might have. Because you're not retiring Neymar's one, surely. With all due respect to Neymar.
No, Neymar, then Paulinho, then Malcolm. So they at least had the
Brazilian.
Only Brazilians.
Why is Olmo so high up there? Is that Dani Olmo?
No, can't be Dani Olmo. No,
yeah. Above Ronaldo. Dani Olmo. It is Nappy was here, and then Ronaldo was here.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. The photos are mental. This is the locker room. But like, yeah. I don't hate it. It's crazy. I don't hate it, though. I love that it's on Goldin. That's what I'll say.
No, listen, this is pure collectibles. This is pure.
But like, look, Gavi, like, there's like Messi is obviously very expensive. It's kind of weird. It's like, is there, Jason?
Is there a bargain to be had here?
Is there a locker there for you, Jason? That's what I have to ask.
Well, I'm looking here and I'm saying there's Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Sergio Roberto, Thiago Alcantara.
That's a bit of an insult to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, by the way, that other people need to be thrown in. Doesn't say Frank de Boer beside Messi's one.
Ousmane Dembele, look, had his own one apparently. The artificial turf.
Flags, corner flags.
Penalty spot, corner flags. this is interesting stuff.
I don't know. I feel like, if you're a Barca fan, you have deep pockets. You're having a bit of fun here.
Yeah, I think so
they're
too.
so heavy. Thierry Henry, David Villa. Oh, that looks good.
Ronald Koeman, Rafinha. Now that
is quite the locker.
Quite the collection.
Like, how do you know
22.
How do you know the damage from the cleats aren't from Frank de Boer's cleats?
You can't know it.
You can't.
Maybe it's photo matched.
That's right. They matched
the
Adidas Predators or whatever.
Yeah.
It's mental.
So people have to let us know, are they bidding in the Barca auction?
Yeah. Is anyone sneakily, are we getting a gift for this Christmas, Jason?
I got you Cesc Fabregas's locker.
I was thinking Lionel Messi. I think we had a very generous, very wealthy friend.
I know. I thought our listeners would be generous, but not, they wouldn't bankrupt themselves.
But like, Jason, are you not interested to see who wins it? Because surely the person that wins, like, you can't hide. I mean, I know you can, but like, surely you win that and you have to kind of come out and go, look, I was the one that did it. It was me. Or does Messi buy it? Like, why didn't Messi get an option to have it? He didn't want it. He's like, that's a locker. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah. I mean, ideally, I suppose...
Like, sell down Goldin and pay me my backdated wages, please.
Yeah. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Messi's locker, by the way, should not be sold. Barcelona should keep that and put it in a museum.
Yeah. But in fairness, like, you would imagine they have a variety of other things that they do have in the museum. I know that's obviously negative. That, it's like everything should be in the museum. Like, it's sad that it's like, right, 500 grand, but surely you can get 500 grand again. You can't get this back.
Yeah, you're Barcelona. Like, can you not just produce a young kid and sell him for 500 grand to
like
Valencia or something?
To anyone. Like, not that
yeah. Messi's locker is you charge tickets to go and see the Messi exhibition, and you won't be long recouping your 500 grand.
Yeah, it's a really sad situation, to be honest. But I suppose it's not about the 500 grand, Jason. It's about all the money from all the lockers, because now the eyes are on all the lockers.
This is true.
You can't put Cesc Fabregas' one in the museum, with all due respect to Cesc.
No, all due respect. Speaking of expensive Barcelona things, let's have a look at the results from the January Goldin Elite. And as always, by the way, people are wondering, this is not a sponsored segment by Goldin. Goldin gets more coverage on the show than anybody else because you can zoom in on the pictures.
You can zoom in on the pictures, and we have a soft spot for Ken Goldin himself.
Yeah, he's an old friend of ours, I like to think.
Yeah, he's a character in the hobby. He's charming.
We've been near him several times.
Never spoke to him, I don't think.
No, never spoken to him, no.
Too shy.
I think maybe there has been once where somebody explained who we were to him from across the room.
What a moment.
But other than that, I don't think there's any mention of us to him.
No, someday we'll chat to him and he'll have a baseball bat in his hand, and we'll be in trouble for saying something we shouldn't have said.
Disrupting his Barcelona.
Or to be honest, my ultimate dream is to get a card like this Lamine Yamal here that you're about to show, and have him private jet from the USA to Ireland to talk about these Irish guys who have this collectible that he must auction off. If only we had Lionel Messi as a locker room.
I know, he'd be straight over. Kane Collectible Season 5. Here we go.
It'd be brilliant.
Right, this is an incredible sale. Oh, it's an incredible sale of the 2023-24 Topps Chrome UCC Superfractor Lamine Yamal. Non-auto, just the base Superfractor.
Yeah, came from a blaster, I believe.
Oh my God, came from a blaster. $103,700 on Goldin auctions.
And a PSA 10, which doesn't surprise me. There was a lot of PSA 10s from the Topps products last year because that Chrome stock was good.
Yes. This is a pretty incredible sale. For a non-autograph as well.
Yeah, but it's, main base card, portrait, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, to me, it's like the contrast between this and all of his Panini 101s is, it's very loud.
Yeah.
Very loud.
The Superfractor still keep going strong. Like, just to look at this, so that's 100 grand. And then there's also the finest with the auto, which is a PSA 1010.
Beautiful.
Also rookie. And that did $37,000, nearly $38,000. So it's very strong. He's continuing his run. We've seen him produce an awful lot of assists and an awful lot of amazing play, which has freed up the likes of your Rafinha's, your Robert Lewandowski's to score a lot of goals for Barcelona this season. He is undoubtedly the most exciting young talent in world football, and his sales keep reflecting that. I keep thinking his sales are going to slow down. Maybe this one here for $38,000, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, that would have done 60, 70,000.
Yeah, maybe.
But still, they're incredible sales.
Yeah, they're solid. Like I'm not really sure how many 101s are left in packs from that season. I'm sure there
It
is.
seems like there's super factors been auctioned off every day.
Yeah, which is intense. Which, to be honest, makes it even more impressive. The sales figures we're seeing, because I think there was probably 4 or 5 of them in that auction alone, 101s. But yeah, it's been strong. It's interesting to see the Topps Chrome 101 getting the highest kind of value out of that, because like it should technically. That's kind of how we view it. It's like that was in Chrome, yet there was such a high print run on that. Finding that exact card in the Super Factor is the chase, that and the auto version. But I think Super Factor performed much better than I want to say the Pat Pradasha of, which probably sold recently as well. But yeah, crazy. I don't know. The Panini sales have not been that strong, which is that kind of people looking to the future, knowing that super factors are going to be kind of in the news more than black 101s. You know, what's going to happen there? I don't know.
But yeah, because you're young, your number one NFL draft pick, your number one NBA draft pick they're going to have rookie super factors.
Yeah, and they're going to. The rookie factors are going to consistently break records and make the news more so than Panini Black Prisms or whatever, because of the licensing thing. So maybe there's a bit of that. You just said rookie
factors. Is that your own term, or have you taken that from somewhere?
Rookie super factors. My apology.
No, I liked rookie factors. That's why I was going back to make sure.
I don't want to say it because I feel like they might create a new one called the rookie factor, and then we'll be to blame.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to take the flak on rookie factor.
No, it was a slip.
But I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
You don't mind it.
Do you want to play a classic game of either or, this or that?
Yes, please.
For the exact same price as the Lamine Yamal Chrome Super went for, you could have got this 2022 Panini Prism Leo Messi Gold number to 10, which is pop 5 in a PSA 10.
That is actually a tough one.
Genuinely, it is, yeah.
Because you obviously have a gold Prism, it's pop 5, so it's not a 101. However, Messi is absolutely cemented. That World Cup was iconic. He won it. So that's an iconic, important card.
Yeah.
Does it have the same type of upside of the Lamine Yamal if he pops off? Probably not. But it doesn't have any of the risk associated with Lamine Yamal breaking his leg.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the flip side, it's like it's not as. I don't know. Like
it's very tough. It's very tough.
Maybe the Messi. I think the Messi. I'll say the Messi pure. I'll say this. I'd say the Messi. I wouldn't show the Messi off the same way I'd show off the Lamine Yamal if I had it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if
Messi's a pure investment.
Yeah, if I had the Lamine Yamal, people would know this guy has that Lamine Yamal. If I had that Messi, I'd have it somewhere safe, and I'd kind of be like, yeah, I kind of just have that, like, kind of hoping this goes up. But that's more. I think the Messi is more of a bet on the soccer card market over time. That people will look back and say, World Cup Prism, that's a gold. It's PSA 10. It's iconic. He won that World Cup. If the soccer hobby grows significantly, then a gold PSA 10 Prism of that World Cup should be significant, unless Panini loses the World Cup license and people don't care about Prisms in 10 or 20 years. But I don't think that will happen.
No, I don't think that will happen either. I was thinking this is pop 5, so
I'd be terrified. Yeah, I'd be terrified of the other 4 people shitting the bed on the price. And there is also, I believe, gold breakaway, gold choice as well. I think so. There's other breakaway. There's other golds, but obviously true gold. But then what? It
feels like this is from two sides of the hobby almost, doesn't it?
Definitely, it's different. But I adore that the price is as high as it is, because I really believe it should be that. You know, if that was a 10 or 20 grand card, I'd be like sad about that. So I like that.
Yeah, what are we doing here, kind of thing.
But if that's 100 grand, there is a space and scope for it to fall over time as well, because I don't know. It's a weird one. I think because it's pop 5, it would kind of deter me a bit. Lamine Yamal would be more of a risky bit of fun, but at the same time, he has a mid-jillion super factors. So I don't know. It is tougher. I would say this. I think there is a better 100 grand to be spent in the hobby than these two.
And either of these.
If I'm allowed to do that.
I like that. I like a secret option C. I'll take that. Let's just have a look at a couple more cards, including some
too, without rambling the way I did.
Do I have? Oh God, I don't know. I suppose if you're telling me you're spending 100 grand, it depends on which way you're looking at it. Which card would you rather have going forward? I'd probably rather have the Lamine Yamal just for the sheer excitement of it.
Yeah.
But if I had to sort of advise somebody who wanted to spend 100 grand in the hobby, I'd say just buy the Messi and let's just all sleep easy tonight. I don't need to be watching Barcelona in the knockout rounds going, Lewandowski passed to Yamal, he's right there, and then he's, it's not worth it, I don't think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's have a look at some Cristiano Ronaldo via Leo Messi. We have this also an of 10 true goal from a World Cup 2014 matchups in a BGS 8. And I'll show you it's 2014 because it's in a BGS slab for $40,000. Enzo, if somebody came up to us, because this is not that far away from a card that somebody could walk up to us with at a show.
I've been walked
maybe an American show.
Yeah, in an American show, I've been walked up to with a PSA 10 Ronaldo True Gold from that set, the actual normal like Ronaldo.
Oh wow, okay.
And that he wanted 90,000 for that, which I thought was crazy that he had it on his person, but I also thought wasn't the worst price compared to the Messi Golds. But I didn't quite have that. We hadn't sold that much at the table, Jason, let me tell you.
No, you were like, you just kind of patting yourself. I was a bit short on 90
grand.
Yeah.
90 grand. Looking at the table going, can we work a trade? Probably not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. BGS 8 obviously takes away from the condition, but that is the matchup cards. Even if it's not Messi Ronaldo art cards, people are always looking for, particularly gold ones. So I think that's actually a good pickup price wise.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way to. This is 2014 Prism, first World Cup Prism. It's True Gold. It's
have both
it's kind of two grades.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
the Messi images. I mean, the images are not fantastic because you're using half a card, but I just think it is brilliant. Like it is.
This is one of those rare things, or maybe it's not that rare, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I actually think I'd be happy with the price as the buyer and the seller.
Yeah,
I think if you're the seller, I think you're going, yeah, it's a BGS 8. It's 40 grand. Like
yeah, not the worst, not the best.
Not the worst, not the best. Who knows what they're in it for?
And if you're buying it, you're just kind of like unreal. But again, it's not the BGS 8. Like you'd get it straight into a PSA slab. If that's a PSA 8, you'd be like, yeah, this is good. BGS has truly fallen off the side of the cliff.
It has indeed. Here's a PSA that I was quite. Speaking of how do you spend $40,000? Yeah, this is a 2003-2004 Upper Deck Manchester United gold number to 7 Cristiano Ronaldo in a PSA 9. It's Pop 1. Upper Deck Manchester United Ronaldo has kind of a special place in the market.
Definitely.
I would say it's extremely important to a select number of collectors, but doesn't have kind of wide. If you ask people to name kind of their top 10 cards or whatever, not that many of them would name this card.
But it is a spectacular card. Just the Vodafone Man United kit, the long sleeve. It's Ronaldo from the time. Like there's so much good about this. It's almost like you almost wish he never had his Portuguese mega cracks.
You absolutely wish he never had his Portuguese mega cracks.
That was the rookie. Oh yes. My God.
I know. That's always the asterisk beside that. It's like some people will put rookie on the 2003 Upper Deck stuff and it's not the rookie, but what if it was?
Yeah, what if it was? Imagine what if there was an 07 rookie Ronaldo? Oh my God.
Yeah. I know.
But again, to demand 40k is big, is great.
Yeah, because like
look at that appearances really gold 0-0. It's unbelievable. Again, a lot of people say, I don't care about the mega cracks. This is the rookie to me, but it's not the rookie. But it's like unbelievable that Upper Deck captured Ronaldo at such a young age at United first season. Just unbelievable. It's really, really unbelievable. Like to be honest, it makes sense. You're saying this is a specialized card, and that's what it is. It's kind of like if you know kind of card. He has autographed in the same set. Like it's unreal. But yeah, 40 grand.
I mean, it says here on the back of this card, just to give people an idea, an exhilarating young striker who is on a fast track to international stardom. Ronaldo is a lock to make headlines with his unbelievable talent. The 18-year-old can make even the most experienced defenders feel overmatched with his ball control and speed. The sky is the limit for Ronaldo. So there's a few things there. The fact that he's described as a striker when he was known in that part of his career as a winger, the fact that he can make defenders trip over themselves, like the sky is the limit. It's like this does feel like this is a perfect rookie card.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Portuguese mega cracks. Oh my God.
Yeah, Panini, you bastard.
Yeah.
And like you can't write off the mega cracks because then what do you do with Messi's rookie? So it's like, I'm sorry, it's cemented. The mega cracks is the rookie.
I know.
But
this is a much more compelling story.
Unreal. Especially with the way Upper Deck exquisite cards and stuff like that. Like there's so much like the LeBron James, Kobe Bryant's back in the day.
It's a parallel. It's not, Yeah,
it does so much. Like this is the hobby.
Yeah.
And it's like a year too late. It's infuriating because this is like one of the first instances of the hobby in soccer, realistically.
Yeah, and Man United, like the thing is, like they spotted him, like they couldn't have signed him any quicker. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just so it's but still, I think 41,000.
Yeah, but not
is
enough.
A really good price here.
But not enough. Like it is. It's a perfect. Like if I'm the seller, I'm happy. If I'm the buyer, I'm delighted as well. But it's like that has all the potential to be 6-figure card comfortably if it
kind of needs to follow the mega cracks, doesn't it? That's the thing, though. We're seeing.
Sitting at 80 or less, 70 for a PS.
That's what I'm saying. So compared to where the mega cracks is,
no, yeah, true. But it's just
this is pretty good.
It's a sad, I suppose. Yeah, it's almost sad that he went back to United and had the big fallout and all the drama and all because that kind of impacts going like, what's in United kit? It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good set.
Okay, we're going to move on from Goldin in just a minute, but there's a few cards I want to quickly have a look at. first of all, there's this Dynasty of Thomas Muller with the Mia San Mia inscription, 101 dual patch, incredible card, $12,200. I was very impressed by this sale.
100%. Now we have seen, Jason, I showed you recently from Bruce Buffer's Instagram that we've seen how Fanatics gets these people to do the inscription. So we know now, for sure, these are not the players themselves saying, here's the inscription I'll do. It's kind of, this is what you write on this card, please.
So for anyone who hasn't seen that image, it's like a kind of bundle of cards with a post-it note around on them, and it says,
write this,
what you should write on these particular cards.
Yeah, so obviously this is a 101. Muller wouldn't necessarily be aware of what that means, or he's not in it as much. So it's like, no, this is the one you write this on, and he goes, okay, I'll do it, no problem. It's still nice. I still like it. I've seen Panini recently are actually starting to do inscriptions as well, Jason. So it is very much innovation on Fanatics' side that has actually taken over a bit. I've also seen Panini's website are doing educational blogs and stuff like that. So like they're actually, the hobby has been elevated to a degree by this. But yeah, unbelievable card. Unbelievable to see a Thomas Muller card doing 12,000. That's
amazing.
Incredible. Another success for Dynasty.
Because this is like you look at Thomas Muller and you go like, right, Thomas Muller should have a 5-figure card out there. And maybe there have been other 5-figure Thomas Muller sales, but I haven't been really aware of them. And this is like he's the all-time appearance holder for Bayern as far as I know now. He's umpteen goals, will probably be the chairman of the club for years to come when he retired. Like this is like about as Bayern as it gets.
Yeah.
So like this should be the thing, and it is. This is just a kind of, it makes me happy that like this is doing well.
Like we have a case of Dynasty, and we are going to open it at some stage. People, just there's a little nugget for them because Kem has a case. The tape was messed on it, so it's like open. So it's 5 loose boxes that no one trusts in this hobby anymore. So we know it's a seal case, so we're actually just going to rip it. And the thoughts of potentially having a 101 in there, and potentially having something like that in there, because I'd almost get more joy out of hitting that if I was to sell it, then getting 12K selling it, than hitting like an off 10 Messi and getting 12K and going like, oh yeah. It's kind of nice to be like, I hit a 101 Muller and I found a home with a Bayern collector and I made 12K selling it, and that's a bit mental. Or if we're lucky, hit a nice Milan card and keep it.
That's I actually like the first.
Yeah, you'll be fuming.
This Neymar, by the way, Neymar, for anyone who didn't see it, moved back to Santos to rejoin there, was welcomed home. The whole kind of typically South American scenes of people crawling on the floor, kissing grass, and being sung at and all that stuff. Anyway, this Neymar 2022 Black Prism 101 in a PSA 9 did just about $12,000, and the combination of seeing the footage from him being welcomed back at Santos and then seeing this sale, I was like, yes, Neymar is still one of the greats,
that's
an icon, and I won't hear anything to the contrary.
And a 12K sale cements of a non-rookie cements that you are one of the greats.
It does, yeah.
No,
and I mean,
genuinely.
If the I don't know if you remember the Croatia game from 2022.
Oh, I feel sick.
Where he almost sent him through
to my stomach still.
I saw this. I saw like an alternate universe where this card is $20,000.
Yeah, no, that's actually one of my least favorite memories and moments in football. I remember Neymar screaming at
You're
Fred.
not Croatian or Brazilian.
No, I remember Neymar screaming at Fred and going, why the hell have you ran up the pitch to try and score another goal when we're winning? It's extra time. And you left a big gap in midfield, and Fred just being like, Neymar, I'm not talented. Like, I don't know why I'm even here.
Yeah. I'm moving to Turkey.
Oh, yeah, I feel sick about it. That game actually is one of my least favorite memories in football.
Because it really was a moment of like, Neymar, he's done it. He still has it. He's still the leader. He's still the legend.
Such a good goal. It was unbelievable. He got around the keeper up. Oh, it was unbelievable in such a moment. Like to do it at that time, at that game, that moment, with that pressure. It was like an iconic World Cup moment, immediately destroyed by just a Croatia team that I felt nothing toward.
I know. But anyway, it's good to know that some people out there didn't have their fate rocked in Neymar by this, and he's still selling strong. And then another Brazilian, perhaps the successor to Neymar, perhaps not. Endrick, this Copa America Prism, which is kind of his first rookie year, we'll call it. Not like Topps are doing his second rookie year at the moment. This 101 Gem Mint 10, PSA Auto 9, $13,420. Like, this is a 101 Black Prism autograph of Endrick, who has kind of been pushed as
PSA 10.
This surely, like, what does Endrick have to do? Obviously, he can't win the European Championships.
Yeah.
Like, at what point is this $100,000 card a la Lamine Yamal, or is it ever $100,000 card? Is there anything he can do?
I don't know, but if I was prospecting Endrick, this is one of the cards that I would love to have. And looking at that price, it's one of the cards we personally could have potentially got.
Yes.
Thankfully for us, we've never gone through the approval process on Goldin, so that has saved us
quite deliberately.
Yeah, that has saved us a significant amount of money throughout the years, because the amount of times I almost bid and want to bid and almost start the process of getting approval.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you need a lot of approval if you're based outside of the United States. Thank God, saved us a lot of pretty pennies. But that's an unbelievable card. I would probably send it to PSA, get rid of that auto 9 grade, just have it be a gem in 10. Not that fully matters, but I would. Don't like seeing a 9 on a card if there's a 10 on the card already. Particularly the actual grade. But yeah, that's the card you want to own. That one, to be honest, Panini killed it last year with Brazil rookies and Palmeiras rookies. Like, I couldn't even tell you which one I'd prefer to have, but it's amazing.
And it's almost like
unreal.
You think of the super factor, we're talking about the growth of super factors and how they're the thing now. It's almost like, as you say, if you're prospecting, and this isn't the kind of thing we like to get involved in, but if you were prospecting, you say, right, Topps are going to put a huge amount of money into promoting Endrick as the guy this season. Now, we know that he has actual rookies from the year before. And so you almost let them market Endrick to the nth degree. You let the super factor sales go big. And then you suddenly go, and what about this?
Yeah, this is...
And you produce this card, and all of a sudden you're like, so give me my 100 grand.
Yeah, that's right. You would. That was an unbelievable pickup. If I seen that card at a show and that was the asking price, I would be chatting to you, Jason, trying to get a deal done on it, because I want it.
You'll be kind of going I was thinking, covering our mouths like Football Manager.
Yeah, we just opened all this dynasty and we have a few cards that are worth a couple grand, and we could swap them in for this and we could add a bit of money on top and Yeah, no, I'd love to have that card. Whoever bought it, reach out to us if you ever panic and think Endrick's terrible and want to get out of it, because I think I would buy it. I just wouldn't buy it on Goldin, not because I have anything wrong with Goldin or with Ken. It's just because it's like gambling controls for me. I can't. You
can't open that particular can of worms.
No, it would become problematic, because there is genuinely so many good soccer cards that get listed there, and a lot of them sell for a price that I fundamentally believe is too low. But maybe it's actually that's where the market is, and Enzo, stop spending all your money.
Maybe just sit on the podcast instead of
discuss it. Don't do
discuss it.
Get your kicks out of it by analyzing it and pretending you bought it instead of actually buying it.
Exactly. That's the best of both worlds. Okay, that's a lot of Goldin stuff. We're back with some products after this. Welcome back. Enzo, there is a set from Panini from the last 10 years, kind of a set that hasn't been released in a long time, that is often named by the likes of you, the likes of me, the likes of other kind of collectors of soccer cards as maybe what you might call a desert island set, if you could only collect one set for the rest of your life, and that is Panini Noir. And there was big news while our podcast was on a sort of hiatus that Panini Noir is returning for 2024-25 from Panini. I presume people have seen this, but if they haven't, it has a 200 card base set featuring stars, rookies, and legends from over 20 national teams and 5 continents. So, a la Don Russ, we're only going national teams here. We have base set vertical silver frame, and base set horizontal cards. Sneaker spotlight signature. Sneaker, okay. I don't want to get too into weeds right away, but they're called boots, or at an absolute American push, you could call them cleats.
Kicks.
But they're not sneakers.
They're not sneakers, no, certainly not.
So Panini Noir basically is coming back. Team logos. That looks like a patch, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Whether it is or not, I'm not sure. I can't read it.
Yeah. Okay. Noir returns to soccer for the first time in 8 years. 200 card base. As I said, the popular sneaker spotlight insert makes its soccer debut. Look for a full roster of inserts, including feature length and vintage art. Inserts fall 1 per case on average. Unwrapped metal frame, parallels, bronze frame, and silver frame. Find 3 autographs per box on average. Look for a roster of signers to include Leo Messi, Kylian Mbappe, David Beckham, Erling Haaland, Zinedine Zidane, Christian Pulisic, and many more players from 5 continents. That's quite the lineup.
Yeah. Like Noir last year, not last year, but last time it came out, a lot of it was on card, if not most of it, or at least there was.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's.
I'm not sure if we're getting that again. We might be, but
I can see there's any mention of it.
I do feel that kind of feeling of like the same thing with Select. Like the old Selects were on such a pedestal until the new Selects came back out, and then it was just like, and then we just have this all the time, like So it's kind of like, is Noir about to lose a lot of its might? Is it about to become a set you can actually collect, and therefore the first time they released it is the iconic one? It's one we all collect and we all love. It's kind of a mixed bag, but ultimately if I was inside Panini HQ, I would be saying, hey, you have the FIFA license. Hey, you have a million good product brands. Put them together and start making some good stuff. And that seems to be what they're doing. Like now I'm thinking, are we going to get Gold Standard again? Are we going to get other sets similar? Are we going to get a Panini Treble? Like, what are we going to get? What are they going to put out? Can we get another Flawless? Can we get these sets you see in basketball all the time and they'll get it here? And I kind of like as well that they're like, yeah, the FIFA license is probably the best license we have. Let's use that one. So
it's national teams, yeah. Because once with Donruss is like, it seems like that was kind of 50-50 decision. They came down on using national teams, but now it's also Noir. So it's like, right, they've just decided we're going to lash out a lot of national team product.
But it has to be said, like if you look at last year, FIFA Select was the most popular one. You know, like I think year one they got confused when they put out Serie A Select and it was a big win, and they said, "Oh, people love the Italian league," and it was like, no, there was a rookie. It was peak hype of that rookie. And no other Napoli weren't featured in any Topps products. Like, it was a whole thing. But now I think they realize like, oh, FIFA Select has staying power, regardless of what year it is. That seems to go up in value a lot more than the other ones. Oh, people like to collect international cards. Who knew? And then they start putting them out. So I love it. I love it. I think it'd be good if they expanded it more, Jason. I'm sure. I don't think we have checked this out, but if there was some Irish on card autos to chase, I think that would make us really happy. And
that would be nice. Yeah,
nice Italian cards as well and stuff like that. But in general, having the Kylian Mbappe autos is always going to help them, especially in a French kit. Lionel Messi and Argentina kit is never not a good thing. Topps haven't really put out a really nice Messi Argentina autograph. I don't think the design has been nice on any of them really.
No, I think that the Topps Argentina sets are not. They haven't quite cracked it yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So I'm just thinking of like Noir. I know back in the day it wasn't international only. I think it was a mix, or at the very least it was club kits for sure.
There were some club kits. It was both. Yeah.
It was both, yeah. So I'd like a bit more of that, though. Give me a bit of both. Why are we not getting? I don't hate.
There may be actually some. I mean, there may be some stuff going on in the background. I don't know anything about this, but there may be some stuff going on in the background around. We've always kind of said on this show, how do they make those products where it's national teams and not national teams? What license are they under? It doesn't make any sense. The industry may have kind of caught up to that,
yeah,
particularly after the likes of we saw. National associations who had deals with Panini not allowing themselves to be represented in Topps Euro products, and there maybe a lot of those kind of like, well, we give you this one, you give us that one, we let that go, you let this go, has gone. All that goodwill has been drained out of the system.
Definitely.
And now you can only do things that you literally by the letter of the contract are allowed to do.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, Jason, what set do you think comes next now? Like whether it's this year or whether it's next year. Do you think we get Gold Standard? Do you think they're cooking up a Flawless in the background? Do you think they've seen what Dynasty did and said, you know what? We're running it back with Flawless. I think that's, I believe that. I believe that can happen. Like, obviously we're going to get Eminence during the next World Cup, but I think the fact that the next World Cup is in North America, Jason, I think that Panini, and it's their biggest license, not just the World Cup license, but just FIFA license, like the club soccer licenses, period. They've got to be cooking up some good stuff, Jason.
Well, I mean, surely you come out in terms of Flawless. If you go, right, could we do a Dynasty style thing? Well, number one, we already had the main Dynasty style thing, which was Flawless. That's us. And we have Mbappe.
Yeah.
So that's an immediate differentiating factor. What can you hit in this that you can't hit in that way? You can get David Beckham.
Yeah.
And you can get Mbappe.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's important.
Like, yeah. Messi in an Argentina kit, obviously, like him and his Barca and his PSG kit wasn't, you know, Barca was obviously great, PSG wasn't, but it's like the Argentina license obviously wasn't able to get them a Dynasty Argentina card necessarily or whatever, but I don't know.
Speaking of Mbappe autos, we also saw this week La Liga Select Soccer is coming back, and we can talk about some designs in a second, but first, we're going to have Kylian Mbappe's first Real Madrid autographs are going to be in this set. That's very exciting.
Definitely. Especially now that he's performing a lot better than he was at the start of the year.
Absolutely. We're looking at Lamine Yamal patch autos. We're looking at Kylian Mbappe autos. 5 cards per pack, 12 packs per box, 12 boxes per case, 3 autographs, memorabilia cards. People like Select, and I do think, as you say, Serie A was like this massive hit the first year because of Kavicha, and it was like they didn't quite understand why that was happening.
It was highly overpriced year 2 out the gate. Like $400. I think it's still on Panini's website for $450 or $430 or something.
My God, they love Lazio patch autos. No, they don't. So the popular Select brand returns for La Liga, featuring all 20 teams. Collect a 250 card, 3-tiered base set with rainbow parallels and elusive honeycomb. Look for insert sets, including Equalizer set, feature Unstoppable and new snapshots, and then 4 super rare limited inserts, stained glass, artistic impressions, visionary and team badges. Open 3 autographs and or memorabilia cards per box on average, including Kylian Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, and Nico Williams, among other signers. There is a slight redesign of the artistic impressions.
Wait, really? Yeah, that looks good.
This looks much better than the previous artistic impression.
Yeah, but the stained glass was that's as bad as it's been. It's very upsetting.
This has moved to a busier sort of design.
And they still haven't stained glassified the player.
Yeah.
Which is,
they've changed it, but not in the direction you were looking for them to change.
Not at all. The last one was brilliant with the little footballs. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. I hate this one. This one makes me angry.
It doesn't look like stained glass to me. It looks like a peacock parallel.
Yeah, it looks just mental, to be honest.
So they've taken a step forward on the artistic impressions, in my opinion, which I've never had any interest before, but I do actually really like how that looks now. And they're taking a step forward there, but they're taking 2 steps back on the stained glass.
Yeah, I think a bit more work on the select soccer products, and they could be much more successful than they currently are. You know, I really don't think it takes too much to improve it, but I don't feel like year to year they've obviously swapped up the design a little bit, but there's not that much innovation. For me, I would look at the case hits and say, right, they're not actually that good. You know, like, let's give them, whether it's a downtown Kaboom lead the way, and they don't have them obviously in select. So I just think stained glass was kind of the one you're chasing, and they've kind of messed it up a bit this year. I think it'll still be a fun chase, but I do think, why not create a new, like they did it in Donruss. They made animation and it was a hit. Like, can we have a new case hit that is the select case hit that we're all really after? I would really like if they could pull that together. Do you know?
Well, even like you talk about downtown, like I always think you do it downtown and just do it, because like every team in La Liga is somewhere.
I know
the team is based somewhere. So
you're upsetting me. It's so easy. It's right there. I know. Don't get into it. Don't get into it.
So you just do. You know, it's not. I'm not going to get into it, but
why not?
It's not that hard.
It's like club logos. If club logos are case hits, great. Give me a black prism logo. Why do we have to? Yeah. Why do we have to just have base logos? Why do you not give us the one who wants to chase? What's your problem? What's the issue?
This has the tone, this conversation of, you know, like we're only saying this because we love you. This is tough love. This is not criticism.
Premier League Select, which is now going to be gone after this year, La Liga Select, Serie A Select, FIFA Select have all of the potential in the world. And to be honest, you're dead right, Jason. It should just be downtowns. It should just be downtowns. Add them in as the case hit, because we don't have downtowns in soccer at this moment in time in terms of in a general release that comes out every year, and have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah. Pick 5 teams, then pick 5 teams the following year, pick 5, you know, whatever. And
do something. Do
something with yourself. Get yourself up and about.
No, that does frustrate me so much, because it's like it's there, and you need to get. That's the thing. It's like you're losing licenses, so you need to get creative with the products that you have. And there's a few little tweaks they can do to fully improve the products that they have to make. Like, right, we don't have all the licenses, but we do have one of the best soccer releases every year because we've done this to this set.
Yeah,
and it's incredible, and people love it. And But yeah, no, very disappointing in my opinion. But I'm looking forward to all of the selects again this year, because they are juicy and fun.
And they always have. There's always something in them that
there's loads of. You know, there's always just a kind of a patch card that's not really anything, but it's still a hit, and you're happy out, and you're having a good time.
Yeah, it is upsetting when you get a select memorabilia or something with no auto, and it's like just a one color patch. You're kind of like, I don't know, like what's.
Is that what this is all about? But then you hit a lot of color, though. A lot of color, because you forget that it's like, great, you have the auto / relic hits 3 of them, but then it's like, then you're hitting a zebra, and you're hitting a black, and you're hitting a gold, and it's like, this is true. It's so full of color and fun, but a little bit of like the case hits. I can't believe I'm telling Panini to just improve their case hits. Who am I? Like, what am I saying?
Yeah,
it's like, come on,
this is what they do.
It's not that difficult. Come on, people.
Right, let's talk a little bit about other alternative manufacturers. I saw this 2025 Futera Incredible is a new set coming out from Futera. 2025 Futera Incredible Soccer Cards delivers 12 incredible team cards plus up to 9 game or training worn memorabilia cards and a minimum of 3 23-karat gold-plated frame cards, including a minimum of 2 on-card autographs in every box. So in a box of this new product from Futera called Futera Incredible, you get 12 team cards, 9 game or training worn cards, and 3 gold-plated cards, of which 2 are on-card autos.
Right.
There are 300...
I need a visual for this, I think.
Okay, I'll see if
I don't need it from you. I'm just saying, like, this is a pictograph would help me here more so than the language. It sounds like I'm signing a contract that I shouldn't be signing.
It's I mean, I'll give you an idea. This is just on gogts.net, and I'll just show you I'm having a hard time because it's a very, very busy information page here. Only 300 total cases produced, and once you get into it, it does start to kind of break down. Language kind of starts to break down. 2023 gold-plated frame cards, including a minimum of 2 on-card autographs. These rare inserts feature some of the biggest names in football. Each card is signed on-card, while the back detailing where and when it was signed, bringing you ever closer to your heroes. Love that. Each on-card autograph is numbered 9 or less. These on-card autographs also include sets of autographed memorabilia cards, etc., etc. Lamine Yamal, Carlos Tevez, Eden Hazard, Ronaldinho, loads of them. It looks pretty cool.
Okay, that looks good. Yeah, this is something I think I need to open to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I'm not going to read any more from it because it is kind of crazy.
It's good to see Ronaldinho is just signing away. He's kind of taking a leaf out of Pele's book.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this kind of strangely kind of pixelated image or kind of strange cropped image, there seems to be a Roy Keane boot card up there, which I personally would like to own. And then there are some nice gold frame on card autos, nice white space there for the autographs.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And then some other stuff here.
Is that like a signed England thing, or what is that? Or that's from a boot, maybe?
It's a Wayne Rooney, something.
Love it. Love it. Say less.
Okay, so that's Futera, incredible. And then Enzo, actually, this next product that I'm going to talk about from an alternative manufacturer, actually have here in a box.
What's this?
I'm going to talk about it while I open it. So, you may remember that we had last year. There was a Bayer Leverkusen treble celebrating set from Ultimate Drops.
Oh God! Yeah, I remember.
We're a European manufacturer, and we, and by we I mean me, thought, well, this is incredible. Bayer Leverkusen have just achieved a historic double and undefeated season apart from the Europa League when we saw them, when they were not very good at all.
No,
and I was left wondering how
the only game that they lost all year.
So I bought what could only be described as a shed load of those sets. Thinking Bayer Leverkusen fans are going to want a piece of history. Turned out Bayer Leverkusen fans had their fill of history and were not interested. Certainly not at that price point. Anyway, I got myself onto some sort of list from buying those sets, and then they sent me this.
You got this for free? For free, is it?
Well, I don't think it was free, and so I think I bought a hell of a load of the other sets, but I didn't pay for it.
Okay, yeah.
This is a new set on the Bayer Leverkusen license.
I've seen people open it. It looks okay. That's what
I haven't opened it. So I thought I might as well do it now on the podcast.
I'll say this. I think they're 180 point. I think because of that, the corners are a bit mangled on them.
Right.
The design looks a bit flawless. He looks good. But ultimately, Jason, I want to shit on the company as much as they obviously were being nice to you. I'd heard... No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I had heard they set up at a show, maybe in Germany, and were selling that Leverkusen set far below their original ORP. So essentially, they themselves shit the price on that product.
Yeah, I can well believe it.
So yeah, I personally, I'm happy that you didn't pay for that because I personally had decided to never buy a box off that company again. So
yeah, certainly.
But it looks nice. It does look nice.
It's a nice set. Again, the draw for this one seems to be
we're never gonna have people do anything.
No, that's the last time I get sent anything to do on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. But listen, I'm going to keep it truthful. That's my feelings on that set. We lost that one. That's a big time. And the boxes were very flimsy. Like that box looks very sturdy, I'll tell you.
Yes. I will say they've quite, I'll open these in a second, but they've done a good job here to thicken the cards because whatever technology they're using, they did not have the technology to create thin cards that wouldn't completely bend.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Jason, I think they've put spacers in between each hit there, which is a very good kind of addition for breakers. So basically, instead of, the classic breaking thing, we are trying to force hiding it. That way you can kind of tease people or something when you're showing them the card. I don't know what people do that, but they've done that for you. So
look at this. Oh, these are actually nice.
Okay.
So the first one there is a Robert Andrick. And again, this is not sponsored. Enzo's just criticized this company. So
I'll stand over it. They're not sending me nice things.
No.
They know which one of us to send the good stuff to.
Patrick Schick, just a nice. Again, these are like very thick to the point where they don't really feel that like. That's a parallel.
That's a bit too thick for me.
It's a bit too thick. They don't really feel. Now I know they're going to be like, "What? You didn't like the thin ones? You don't like the thick ones?"
Yeah, because there's a sweet spot, Jesus. It's about 130.
Sorry, is this one autograph per box? I don't know what this is. Hang on.
I don't know.
Victor Boniface off to Saudi Arabia. Piero Hincapié lost his head against Atletico.
I'll say this: anytime I've bought outside of Panini and Topps, with the exception of Futera, sometimes it tends to be a very bad decision.
Then I get a patch here from Martin Terrier, the French fullback.
You're not going to be able to clip this, Jason. By the way, a little social media clip tagged up in it. Me just going, they're fucking terrible.
So basically, what I got in that box for free, was this Robert Andrich on-card autograph, which is a very nice on-card autograph.
Yeah, we can bring that to Germany and we'll get a few shillings for it, no doubt about it.
I guess so. So there you go. So that's, and so you were saying that anytime you've bought outside the traditional manufacturers plus Futera, you get burnt.
Yeah, big time.
And I think that's quite legitimate. And it's tough. It makes things difficult for us in the card industry because you do want to support people who are doing new and innovative things. And sometimes, as you say,
especially if they have the licenses.
They have the licenses. They come up and they say, we're actually going to do spacers in between each card because we have this little kind of iterative idea, which is slightly better for a high-end set. But if you're always kind of supporting these companies and you're kind of ahead of the market, you do get burnt a lot because the market says, can the big companies just take their ideas and put them in their products? And,
yeah. So yeah, it is. It's a weird thing. It's the same with grading, you know, the PSA is king or whatever. And it's like, it's an industry where you want to see innovation, you want to see disruption, and you don't want to see a monopoly. But then at the same time, you're kind of like, I like buying off Topps and Panini, and I like PSA, and I don't really want anyone else disturbing me. You know, it's kind of it's contradicting.
Well, I think it's because we all have a financial stake in the cards we own, and so it's like it's not just kind of, you're not buying it and trying it and then moving on. You're buying it and then you need it to hold value. So there are
if you're
kind
saying
of vested interest.
If you're saying black prisms and superfractors mean something, then you don't necessarily want a new boy to enter the game and start creating something that is the new thing to chase and, you know, winning. But it feels like no one can win, right? It feels like Topps and Panini, no one else can actually disrupt that. But like if someone was to theoretically, if Fanatics had come in, not bought Topps, not bought Panini, and created their own sets, what does that do to superfactors and Topps brands and Panini brands, etc.? So I don't know. But
because you
just
can create a 101, but you can't create a superfactor or a black prism.
Yeah.
But
nice of you. I mean, I do like sets like that you can just open, you know, in the span of 20 seconds or whatever, and it's, you know,
exactly
fun.
Yeah.
I hate the culture of base cards. I'm going to say. It's like if you want base cards, it should just be buy retail, buy megas. Do you know what I mean? That's where there's loads of base in there, and that's the value, you know, whatever. But it's like, Donruss Jason has obviously been Donruss Soccer has been delayed big time coming into Dublin, and the thoughts of 360 base cards in those boxes turns my stomach.
Yeah, I know. I do think there are kind of purists for whom base cards are very important. And again, it does feel like we may end up actually, so the hobby kind of like going from like, on the one hand, you have like stickers and kind of your match attack style things. On the other hand, you have your upper deck exquisite and that kind of stuff. And it's almost like they're two separate things. And then they kind of come together in Topps Chrome and they come together in Panini Prism. And they've kind of been mashed up now for the last 10 years or so. We actually may see them diverge again.
Yep.
And it'll become again, you have your high-end sets, you have your kind of your breaker sets, your hits.
Breakers
and then you have your breakers delight, and then you have your full set. But I guess Topps do some basketball or some baseball stuff that's just base cards, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. But like in general, like I like the idea of like say Topps, like I like the idea of like if you want to complete the set and you want to get all the base cards, then buy your retail, buy your megas. They're cheaper and they're all in there. Do you know, like buy 5 value boxes in order to complete the set that you're missing because your hobby box didn't have as many base cards as you wanted it to have or whatever. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe that's a breaker mentality. But it's the thing, we don't break, but it's just more so like when I'm opening cards, I don't like all the base.
You're not completing your set.
I'm not completing I'm not completing the set, and I understand that like it's easier to have a high price tag on a set if there's 200 base cards in there as well on top of the hits.
But it's kind of literally filler, yeah.
It's lit, yeah, but it's like even from like a recycling point of view or giving them away to people,
I know.
like it is. I feel like there's something to be done there. And in fairness, you have your choice, you have your breakers to light. There is kind of versions for that, but I guess they're really, really hard to get your hands on in the same kind of volume. I don't know. I think there's a sweet spot that is not being hit. That's what I'll say.
Right. Okay. Let's just quickly move on and end the show with any other business.
And now, gentlemen, is there any other business?
I'll start with that and just say Dublin Card Show. We are approaching it fast. We're going to be hitting people up with the pre-show trade night information potentially today or tomorrow. Shooting out emails to our VIPs first and foremost. They're going to get first refusal. We're doing that in collaboration with TFF Breaks. Lucas there in Liverpool. We're almost sold out. So if you are listening to this podcast and have not bought tickets to the show, we did get clarification on our capacity from the venue, and we are fairly.
It's not infinite.
It's not infinite. We're fairly close to selling out. And just yesterday, we started some local Dublin radio advertisement as well, which we realize now because of how successful the selling of tickets was in January. was a kind of a financial outlay we won't need to make next year necessarily.
Yes.
Which is good to know. But yeah, they're still up on. There's still a bit of fun. It's fun hearing people in Dublin saying, "Hey, I heard it on the radio. This was fun." But yeah, it's
I
very
actually
much,
have. We're doing a weekend sponsorship of this station FM 104, who are our media partners. I think it's next weekend. Anyway, so they just sent me through this ad for approval. So this will be on the Dublin radio.
Sneak preview.
Yeah.
Weekends on FM 104. It's the weekend. With the Dublin Card Show, presented by Tops. Back for its second year. See DublinCardShow.com. FM 104. FM 104.
So that's going to be in between the kind of hit music that they're playing.
Yeah, on I think it's the Valentine's Day weekend. People have the radio on. They're going to be hearing that this whole weekend is presented by the Dublin Card Show, which is presented by Tops.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm
Then
excited.
there's a whole other ad running the rest of the time. It's very exciting.
I'm like mentally ready, Jason, to have to deal with a lot of customer service when the tickets do sell out, though, because I do think, next couple of weeks, maybe two. Yeah, I mean, we're cutting it close now. We are getting close to the day, so I'm not feeling too bad, I suppose. But everything came pretty much. I think the only thing I'm missing is Soccer Cards United merch for our actual table. I'll give people. This is not merch for sale, people. I'll give the viewers a little sneak preview into this Adidas SX Soccer Cards United cap. So I need to dock out to people that will be standing at our table, Jason, with a few bits of
few
merch.
goodies.
Yeah, we're waiting on the Dublin Card Show staff T-shirts to arrive, but they have been ordered and I think they're on the way after controversy, Jason, because our logo says Tops presents the Dublin Card Show and they flagged that and said you can't use a copyrighted logo. I went through what can only describe as many legal avenues trying to get some approval in written and form or whatever. They just wouldn't take it. They said, no. It shows the power of fanatics, because last year we didn't have this problem, let me tell you. But I've had to alter the logo a little bit on the staff uniform, Jason. Not that, again, this is why this is any other business, by the way, Jason. You've perfectly prevented me from doing this in the middle of the show.
I've trapped you in a segment at the end of the show.
God damn it. You're going to edit it all out. What are the people going to listen to? But apart from that, like right now, we're kind of all hands on deck for a Dublin Card Show. It's been going really smooth because it's our second year doing it. We have a lot of support and I'm very happy about that. And yeah, Jason, I don't know how you feel, but I feel very relaxed coming into the start of February.
No, I feel good. I'm very excited to welcome everybody to Dublin at the start of March. I keep remembering different people that are coming on a kind of daily basis. I keep going like, oh, and I have to talk. And so sometimes anxiety does kick in where I'm like, that's a lot of people to try and make sure they all get kind of like, not that everyone's like waiting for a conversation with me, but you do want to kind of shake people's hands and say, thank you for coming. You don't want to leave anybody out.
Jason, I said that actually to my family and I said, we might need to put a figurehead in charge of the show during the show. Faye had that idea last year of going like, yous aren't going to want to be the ones running around.
Sort of a floor manager.
There should be kind of a show manager. And I said it to my brother and I was like, would you potentially want to do that if we decide to do it that way? And he was kind of like, I kind of want to manage the table. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And it's like, do you have to pay to do that? But then it's like, he also kind of has to manage the table. It's kind of like, I don't know. A part of me feels like we kind of
could ask one of the world-class professionals at the Convention Centre Dublin.
We might need to. I can't remember too many things last year where we had to go running around necessarily. Like it was such a hectic day. It all happened and it was over before it happened. I felt like I was having surgery or something. I just woke up the next day and people said it was a great event. And I was like,
what? Start counting backwards from 10 and then you wake up after.
And I wake up, everything's done. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel that feeling, Jason, of like, I definitely didn't walk around tables as much looking at cards at all. I think you bought most of the cards that we were buying.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to do that, but I don't know if we should put some contingencies in there, Jason, or we should just kind of wing it. I mean, last year, again, famously, you weren't there because you're on TV. That's actually something I wanted to ask you. Do you want to reach out to the TV people from Soccer? This is now we're doing on-air production, by the way. Do you want to reach out to them and say, hey, I was there last year. I'm here this year. This year, I'm not coming the day of the show. So if you want to do a segment again, which we'd love to happen, it needs to not be the day of the show.
I guess I'll ask them that, yeah.
Just to, slap them across the wrist and say, listen, because I cannot do them. I can't do that again. And I don't want to go on TV. That'd be worse.
So that's the Dublin Card Show is being planned. It's March 1st. You can get your tickets at DublinCardShow.com or on Eventbrite. I just wanted to say that I'm very disappointed that Rolling Stone's Prism from Panini doesn't have any memorabilia or autographs or any other reason to buy it.
It's cheap.
I know it's cheap, but I don't need a Mick Jagger manga.
Parallel.
Although, as I say that, I do kind of like that. I like the idea. I'll buy the single.
Exactly. Buy the singles. It's I'm hoping that is a trial and error from Panini. I hope that's not what we can look forward to from Panini. In the new realm of licensing.
Because actually, a Dublin Card Show vendor and Irish card man, Iconic Cards, recently did some Oasis cards that are brilliant and have like memorabilia elements and all that kind of stuff.
How do they have memorabilia in Panini America can't?
Yeah, so that's something to think about. we saw X-Men Finest coming out. Topps are continuing now under a global license to do entertainment cards. X-Men 97, people have some memories of that maybe if they're of a certain generation. And then there were all sorts of transfers around Europe. I'm just going to shout out a load of transfers.
Yep.
Without analysis.
Yeah, brilliant. Just yelling.
Just yelling. Get ready for a load of transfers. So we have Kavica Kvaratskhelia from Napoli to PSG for 85 million euro. Omar Marmoush to Manchester City from Eintracht Frankfurt for 75 million euro.
He's looked good.
Eli Wahi,
He looked good. He played a game for City a couple of games probably now.
Yeah, he does look good. He looks bright.
Really good.
Eli Wahi to Eintracht Frankfurt from Marseille for about 30 million euro to replace Omar Marmoush. John Duran to Al Nassr from Aston Villa for 64 million pounds. Marcus Rashford and Donny Malen to Aston Villa to replace John Duran. João Felix.
I feel like Aston Villa got someone else as well. I don't know.
Did they?
I think so. João Felix to AC.
João Felix on loan to AC Milan.
We also got
João Felix and Alvaro Morata. You're now getting a taste of my mouth, is it?
Yeah, I feel sick.
Best of luck
I also feel like we can have one of the greatest kind of crossover PCs ever.
I know, yeah. There is like a who play for Milan and Atletico, and that's the PC.
And unfortunately, it's never really someone we love. I don't think.
No, it's never the good ones, which keeps it nice and cheap.
Torres?
Fernando
Torres?
Fernando Torres, yeah. João Felix is kind of doing the Fernando Torres career path, but without any of the success. You also got Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord to AC Milan.
A lot of, I know people are PCing him galore, so I don't particularly enjoy the idea of trying to get his cards. But I'm hoping
between Christian Pulisic and Santi Jimenez, you're gonna have a hard time getting AC Milan spots.
It's tough. Yeah, AC Milan breaks, no chance.
Matheus Tel, much touted wonder kid from a couple of years ago, from Rennes to Bayern and now to Tottenham Hotspur on loan with a buy option for 45 million pounds. See what Big Ange can do with him over there in North London.
Big Ange is ready to go.
Manchester City also spent 50 million pounds on Nico Gonzalez from Porto, who is a La Masia product, was a rookie for Barcelona in 21-22. Merlin and Stadium Club, I think. I remember him playing at Valencia, where he was an okay young midfielder. I'm not sure what's happened in the meantime to add that £1 million valuation. And then finally, and most importantly, Evan Ferguson is going to rejoin Graham Potter on loan at West Ham to rediscover the form that he burst onto the scene with and lit up all the Irish hearts a couple of years ago. So that's basically the January transfer window in a nutshell.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic.
I think we're done.
Who needs deadline day when you have Jason?
Exactly. Right, we're back next Wednesday. And DublinCardShow.com, SoccerCardsUnited.com.
Yeah, get involved.
Websites. Get involved.